Hi, everyone. Jedediah Thomas here. Today, I just wanted to kick off with an informal kind of documenting the journey type video. This will become the first in a series, and there will be a lot more with updates about my life, me, my methodology, my business, and actually applying this and, kind of like the more admin side, kind of the more back end side of things of, updates with, clients and, breakthroughs and things like that. Be sure to like and subscribe. That helps me out a bunch. Be sure to check out some of my other videos on the channel and different playlists about actually, the theory of the mind, and probably more coming soon as well. So, a little bit about me. I've never had any formal training in psychology. I've never even taken a psychology class in school. Probably the most in-depth thing that I know about psychology is I know that the Myers-Briggs personality test exists, and I know like 3 or 4 different types. And that's pretty much the extent of my knowledge of psychology. So how did I get where I am right now, being a mindset coach? How did I develop a method that basically, well, I won't say it invalidates the entire field of psychology. You can make your own conclusion about that when we work together, but my clients certainly believe that that's the case. So basically, I used to be super religious, and I was kind of always interested in something bigger. And then a series of things happened, and not only cured me of my religiousness, so I'm no longer religious, thank God for that. But it also traumatized me on an extremely deep level. I don't think there is a bigger trauma than realizing that the being that you believe is God and is benevolent is in fact pure evil. But that's besides the point. So I was so traumatized by the things that happened to me. Like when it first happened, I was like staring at the wall for months, right? Like, and then like my next step of healing after that was like playing Minecraft. Like that was my therapy for like several months at a time. Eventually I ended up going to college, to school for accounting and finance. So I've got 2 bachelor's degrees from that. But essentially being in school for those few years, I was too traumatized to work mentally, so I couldn't work, right? And then physically, I was also, disabled. And so I couldn't do physical work either. So I was like, well, there's nothing I can possibly do. So I'll go to school. Hopefully, I'll be better mentally by the time I graduate, and I'll have a couple of degrees out of it as well. So that's basically what happened. Graduated top of my class for summa cum laude for both of those degrees. And basically, while I was in school, I was doing everything I possibly could to heal myself. Right, I was so messed up from the trauma that had happened to me. And so I had invested in a lot of like mindset programs. I looked into hypnotherapy. I joined Mind Valley, if you've heard of that. Marissa Peer, like I basically anything that I could find that could help with mindset stuff or mind stuff or anything like that, I tried. Right, I tried going to traditional therapists. I tried to go to all these different things, and nothing could actually fix me. Right, I've basically tried everything from the most practical modalities that are out there to the most bizarre woo woo off the wall, like you must be insane to try something like that kind of modalities, and nothing really worked. So anyways, my career kind of went a different path. So I ended up getting into very heavily into like sales, and um, I've had a lot of different sales jobs. Eventually I got basically good enough to be at sales to become a sales coach, and then I ended up becoming the head sales coach of a very large sales agency that was doing $10 million a year. And so basically when I became the head coach there, I could no longer do um, sales coaching on my own, right? It was a conflict of interest, so I had to close shop on my own coaching for sales. But I was like, well, I still want to do coaching on my own. I want my own business, right? I don't want to be an employee for the rest of my life. So I was like, well, what kind of other coach can I be? So I was like, well, with everything that I've learned with mindset, I think I could probably do okay as a mindset coach, right? So that was kind of the start of my endeavor, basically about, I would say maybe a year ago, maybe less than a year ago at this point in time, that I started getting into quote unquote mindset coaching. But I didn't have any frameworks, I didn't have any process, I didn't have anything of that. All I had was all of my experience of being traumatized and trying to overcome it myself, and not really making any progress on it. But I was like, well, maybe I can help somebody else. So I had a friend who was trying to start a sales agency, and he was overcome with a lot of limiting beliefs, mostly actually around relationships, is how he originally reached out to me. And it was just like, okay, here's my problem, what do I do? And I was like, well, I don't know how to help you, but I'm going to do everything I can to help you. So in the process of just trying to help him, um basically I realized that there were limiting beliefs and there were traumas, and there was a motivation issue. And so I was like, okay, well, how can I fix motivation, right? So I had a lot of experience with like different modalities with motivation, then were like super powerful. So I kind of like took what I knew of that and created my own method for motivation. Same thing with limiting beliefs. I was like, well, okay, I know the outcome of what needs to change, right? Your beliefs are the problem. So then I created a way to shift beliefs very quickly. And then same thing with traumas. I was like, well, okay, like nothing else I've tried has actually worked for trauma for real. I was like, well, let me crack at it and see what I can do. So in the span of a few weeks, I created 3 methodologies that like they're going to change the entire science of psychology. You wait. There's going to be a lot of psychologists out of a job. But technically speaking, disclaimer, I don't operate in the mental health realm, so maybe they can keep their jobs making coffee or whatever. I don't care. you know, put a little psychology in their coffee, whatever. But I don't claim to replace the industry of psychology. I do mindset coaching, but I do it around increasing motivation, removing limiting beliefs, removing traumas, right? So when I started working on him, the shifts were so powerful and so immediate in him, in his life. It blew my mind. I was like, I didn't even know if I could help him. And then just by trying to help him, like his whole life just changed like pretty much overnight. Like things started changing, things started moving, he started getting rolling, and he got his agency basically off the ground, and he's still growing that, talking to major people in the industry that he would have never been able to before, directly as a result of me working with him. And then I was like, okay, is this a fluke, or is there something to this? So I basically reached out to a few other of my friends, and I was like, hey, can I try and help you with mindset stuff? Because I think I've got something here. And a lot of them are like, no, this is, okay, you're a sales coach, like, what do you know about the mind? And I'm like, there's just try me, right? So I had another friend who was also trying to start a different kind of agency. It was a marketing agency, and I did one session with him of trauma limiting belief removal, and I got him off of like 15 to 18 different antidepressants, right? And if you want to hear the interview with him, it's Avi. He's on my channel as an interview. So just take a look at that. But like, I was like, dang, I think I really have something here. So I worked on probably about 8 to 10 different people. They were all my friends, just basically case studies of like, hey, if I do some work on you, will you give me a testimonial, or can we barter some services or something like that. And I worked on quite a few people, and basically had 100% success rate. And I was like, okay, so the method freaking works, right? Each method that I've used, as I've used it, has worked 100% of the time. In terms of like changing people's lives, the stories are varied, right? So it's like it really depends on how much they were held back. But like when I remove a trauma, it's gone. When I shift a belief, it's shifted. It stays that way permanently. It only takes like 5 minutes for each, right? And the motivation method is extremely powerful as well. But I would say probably just in full disclosure, not to hide anything negative. I would say probably there's only one person that I didn't help on the level I wanted to, and that was because their problem was like 95% trauma, and they only wanted to do limiting belief shifting. And I was like, okay, I can do that, and I did shift some beliefs, right? I was successful in that, but like, when you need brain surgery and you're telling the doctor just give me Tylenol, it's not really going to fix the problem. So it's like, okay, yeah, I didn't help them on the level I wanted to, but it was like, okay, they didn't really want to be helped, right? So if they would actually worked with me on the trauma, they probably would have been, just as good off as everyone else that I've worked with. But that's kind of the full disclosure side. So it's not like, there is an element of you actually have to cooperate for things to work out. But so anyways, that's kind of the start of the methodology. Through trying to fix myself, through trying basically everything that's out there and getting no results, I just created my own methodology that gets results. Like that to me is more important than anything else. So hopefully getting results is important for you as well. Now, in terms of like the business side of things, right? So basically, I just recently started taking on paid clients. So I was kind of doing the testing phase, the case study. Now I actually am taking on like new people are reaching out to me, getting on calls with them, seeing what they need, just seeing how many sessions they need. If you're really super messed up, like you've had compound traumas, and abusive past, beaten as a child, raped, whatever, it's very likely that you'll probably need more sessions, right? So I would say maybe 90 days, like one session a week is probably about what you need. If you have just like a little bit of stuff, maybe a few sessions is enough to break through that. And if it's just like your life was perfect and you just had one event happen, then it's okay, maybe just one session is enough to resolve that for you. But basically it's just really just seeing where people are at and helping them in whatever way that they need help, right? Whether it's limiting beliefs or traumas or motivation or all three, as is often the case. So that's kind of like the business side. As far as what my clients have said, basically that they've said they've had more progress with me than anything that they've tried. And one of them has spent like hundreds of thousands of dollars on different modalities. My clients have tried CBT, which is cognitive behavioral therapy, EMDR. I have no idea what that stands for. They've tried hypnotherapy, Marissa Peer, they've tried NLP, they've tried Paul McKenna, they've tried Tony Robbins, they've tried traditional therapy, talk therapy, they've tried what all else is out there? RRT, RTT. I think one of those is Marissa Peer, one of those is someone else. I'm not sure which is which. Let me see. What else have they tried? Drugs, like one of the clients was on all the antidepressants, psychiatrists, psychologists, therapists, family counseling, you name it, right? Like they've tried pretty much everything that's out there collectively, and then I've tried my own stuff. And basically the consensus is overwhelmingly that what I have here is so powerful, it's going to basically change the entire landscape of things. So if you don't listen to me, just reach out to the people that are on my interviews and ask them what they think, right? But you can watch the interviews as well and just hear what they have to say. So that's kind of like what my clients have said about the work. As far as kind of what happens in a session, I don't put you into hypnotherapy. I don't put you into a hypnotic trance. I don't I don't drag you through your emotions nonstop for hours and hours like normal therapy does. I would say probably they've said probably the closest thing to what I do is maybe NLP, but I've never studied NLP, so I don't actually know what it entails. But they've also said that what I do is completely different than NLP and like 1,000 times more powerful. So take that as you will. And don't mind the shaky camera. I've got one of those stand-up desks, and I've got a laptop, so anytime I put my arms on the desk it shakes. So maybe in time I'll have a higher production value, who knows, we'll see. But this is just kind of documenting the journey. So basically right now my goals for the business are just to take on more paid clients, to start to grow my customer base, my client base, grow my practice, start to really use it on more people. There's some refining that needs to happen, but out of the box, unrefined, it's still more powerful than pretty much anything that's out there. So if you'd like to challenge me on that, I'm more than happy to go head to head and fix people better than you can. So try me. But anyways, yeah, just helping more people, getting more testimonials, getting more social proof, continuing to create content. I've been doing videos. I've been, writing on Facebook for a long time. I would say probably the biggest downfall of Facebook is the algorithm, is that people only have maybe one chance to see my posts and then they're gone, right? And then they just get eaten by Facebook. Whereas on YouTube, it's pretty much static. Once you have my channel, you can watch all my videos. And I may at some point create like a blog or something so I can turn all of my written content into something static as well. But basically just continuing to, increase my content output so I can get the word out. And then as far as refining the methodology, I would say probably the biggest downfall of the methodology is that I have to be very accurate with what I'm doing. If I don't actually see what the limiting belief is or what the trauma is, it's not treatable, right? I have to know exactly what happened, which is easy with a trauma, right? Because basically you can you basically recall what the situation was, and then I can fix it in 5 minutes. But as far as limiting beliefs, they are a lot trickier. And the method itself is extremely powerful. I can shift a belief in 5 minutes if I know what it is, but it's very difficult sometimes to actually see what is a belief versus what is a social, what would you call it? Like a social convention, right? Where, okay, so as an example, one of my clients very recently had, okay, every day is a bad day if one thing goes wrong. And then when I first hopped on the call, I was like, okay, well, how was your week? And they're like, it was okay, right? So I was like, okay, so I thought maybe there was a belief there that there was, a day was maybe different than a week, but it was just a social convention, right? They just decided to say that it was a good week or is an okay week, even though it was made up of bad days, right? So once I actually see what I've got, it's done, it's game over. But it's sometimes difficult to see what the belief is, what's underlying that. So the biggest advancement in my method will come with being able to pinpoint exactly what needs to change with greater accuracy. And as I can do that, oh my goodness, things things are going to be rolling very fast in terms of healing people. But until then, until I get some kind of insight, I'm sure if I treat 20 or 30 people, I might get that insight. But right now it's just kind of like shooting in the dark. And then I'm still helping people more than pretty much anything out there, but it's I wouldn't say stressful for me, but it's like it requires a lot of creativity of coming up with what could be the problem and then testing it and then seeing if it actually was a belief that I changed or if it was something else, and then seeing the feedback and then trying again. So I do hit the target, but sometimes it's a little more back and forth. Whereas if I was more accurate with seeing it, then I would be able to knock it out just like boom, 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 boom. So if any of y'all watching have any kind of like frameworks for determining what your beliefs actually are, I can shift them faster than you than you think is possible. But the difficulty is that the belief level is different than the thought level, and most of what you think are your beliefs are actually just your thoughts, and I go quite a bit deeper. So that's the biggest frontier for me right now, is just trying to figure out accurately what your beliefs are so that I can shift them in a beneficial way. Yeah, as far as my life goes, I mean, I resigned from that sales coaching job. I was not happy working there. It was not a good job. I was being very severely underpaid. So I'm very happy to be away from that now. I'm doing kind of a local sales job right now. So we'll see how that goes. As this business grows, I'll probably be doing this full time. But as right now, I have kind of like 1 foot in, 1 foot out. So I'm just doing this kind of in my off hours. And as I grow, that will change. So we'll see what happens. But this has been the first State of the Onion address, and onion being, the layers of your mind. So, stay tuned for more updates about the business, life, me, the methodology, my clients, whatever. And of course, I'll be making more kind of like theory videos as well. I've got some interview videos from my clients, which I'll add more of those as I get more clients. And other than that, I'll just, see if there's any other type of content that needs to be out there, and I'll be making more. So thank you for listening. Hope you have a good one. Once again, be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the channel. Bye.